welcome back to Crazy Sexy Quickies. Now, we are taking it big time. Can we just have praise for my first bit of merchandise, the Crazy Sexy Food apron with my favorite vegetable of all time, the aubergine. Today, we are making an incredibly complicated recipe, but what else are you going to do in quarantine? We are making the babka. Now, if you don't know what that is, a babka is from the Ashkenazi Jewish origin, and it's a hybrid of kind of a cake bread, a bit like a challah bread. It's sweet, it's dense, it's sticky, it's fudgy, it's all kinds of great. I have a whole range of ingredients that I'm going to be working with, and I just want to let you know this cake is going to take me 2 days. 2 days to make. 2 days? You said 2 days? So this is a commitment. Because this is going to take so long, I'm actually going to make 2 loaves of babka because it's such a commitment and it's going to get eaten in 5 minutes, as all my cakes seem to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 2, and I can put 1 in the freezer, and that can last for maybe a week or so, possibly a couple days in my case. This is a yeast-based cake, which I'm going to be honest, I have never ever worked with before, and it was a nightmare trying to find yeast during quarantine, but I found a lovely little Italian bakery, and they have promised me that this is dry yeast. If anyone out there speaks or reads Italian, perhaps you can confirm with me. Well, it'll be too late by the time this video is out. We've got 2 loaf tins. You're going to need either a mixer, like a good old KitchenAid one, which I'm hoping I'll get for my birthday present in October. But for now, I'm using a hand whisk. I've obviously got scales, and I've got a mixing bowl. What? Is this yeast? Mum? Right, slight detour with the main event. We have just found out that Italian yeast that I was praising so much is actually not yeast at all, and it is baking powder. So I have sent somebody out to go and get me yeast because I ain't baking for 2 days for nothing. Okay, crisis averted. Turns out, had to make a few phone calls to some of my Italian friends. Thank you, Bianca and Christian. This is actually instant yeast. We're gonna have to take a risk at this point, but I think it should be okay. In my bowl, I am putting 660 grams of plain flour. We are now putting in 80 grams of caster sugar, 2 pinches of salt. Now it's time to combine your wet ingredients. So I've got my 2 eggs, my milk, and my butter. Okay, so we have finished combining, and it should look a little something like that. A well combined ball. Please rise, please rise, please rise, please rise. Hi. Good morning, everyone. I had a very interrupted sleep because I kept waking up every hour on the hour, praying that my dough was going to be okay after Yeast-Gate. The dough is still in the fridge. We are going to take that out at the very last minute because the dough needs to be very firm before we start cutting it into 2 and rolling it out. So we're going to start with the filling. In with the butter. So we're taking this off the heat. And that's really important because otherwise it's going to burn. We don't want that. So we're pouring in all the sugar, in with the chocolate, and in with the cocoa powder. So essentially what you're making is a paste. And then the last thing I need to add is cinnamon. There we go. Right, now let's really get this all combined. Oh my God, this is so decadent. It's like, it just looks and smells very, very naughty. Oh my God, sorry guys, sorry for the sound effects. Look at that. Now, I'm just gonna combine this a little bit more, and I really can't emphasize, make sure this has completely cooled down before you even think about taking that dough out of the fridge. It's the moment we've all been waiting for, the dough. So I realised overnight, whilst I was having nightmares and not sleeping, that actually it wasn't about the dough rising loads in the fridge, because it can't do that. It will do that when we prove it in a bit. It was just that I think I was just very nervous because of Yeast-Gate. However, that is my dough, and it is very, very firm. We're going to cut this in half because, yet again, to remind you all, we are making 2 babka. So, no, that looks pretty good. Put one to the side. In fact, what I might do is put this other one in the fridge until I'm ready for it. Lightly flour your rolling pin as well. And we're going to you're going to do it in a rectangular shape. Oh my God. Okie doke. I actually have really bad shoulders. This is going to be fun. And you're going to kind of roll it out to a rectangle shape of about 50 centimeters by 30 centimeters. Okay, so we've got it sort of accurately as much as I can to about the 50 centimetre to 30 centimetre ratio. This has actually been a lot more difficult than I initially expected. So I want to give you a little tip. Obviously this is not a perfect rectangle. If you can see that like there, it dips. So I can take this little bit off here and just sort of, this is not perfect, but just do that. And kind of get it to sort of stick a bit, and then it kind of fills in the areas where it's a bit uneven. I've suddenly had all the pangs of nervousness again, but let's just see how we go. I think this is as good as it's going to get at this point. And as you can see, if you want to look at the sort of thickness, it's like about 2-3 millimeters thick, I'd say. You've got to move quite quickly at this point. We don't want the dough to get too warm. So about half of the mixture. I don't know if that's too much, but we'll just work it out as we go along. I think that's all right. And basically you are going to spread this out. I'm just going to use a spatula to every possible part of it. You're picking at the edges at the end closest to you, and you are going to do a really tight roll, as tight as you sort of can. So basically you're going to plait, so you start from the middle and you basically go like that, go like that, and you go like that. In it goes. So just sprinkle these that fell off, and I'm going to do the same again for the other loaf. Here we have the 2 loaves. I'm not going to lie, it's taken blood, sweat and possible tears to get to this point, but we have them. Right now, I don't need to eat the second one. I might do once I've tried the first one. This is going to go in the freezer, and I'm going to go and put this in a warm room for between 1.5 hours to 2 hours, and then we will put it in the oven. So it's been 1.5 hours and I just took it out of the airing cupboard. I'm now going to brush some egg wash, which is simply 1 egg mixed up with a pinch of salt. The oven has been preheated to 220 degrees centigrade. It is going to go in for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, keep the temperature as it is, just turn the baking tin around so you get even cooking for 10 minutes. And after that 10 minutes, Whack down the temperature to about 180, 190 degrees centigrade and cook for a third 10 minutes. So it's half an hour in total cooking time. And the aim of the egg wash is that it's going to give it a nice shiny finish once it's cooked. And in it goes. The babka is in the oven and it's at its third 10 minutes, so we're coming up to half an hour. I'm now making the sugar syrup, which is 100 ml of water to 100 ml of sugar to 1 tablespoon of honey. Once the babka has come out of the oven, you're going to pour all over the loaf in the tin, and it's going to sizzle, it's going to steam, it's going to smell amazing. And you're going to let that cool, because what's going to happen is that the syrup is going to drizzle down and crystallize all around the edges and give that slight crunch that babka sometimes has. So here is your babka. It's been in for half an hour. And what I'm going to do very quickly, you've got to act quite quickly with this, is pour the syrup all over. Can you hear that sizzle? And this has to absolutely cool down until you take it out of the tin, because it will fall apart if you take it out at this point. Enjoy!